Dear friend, welcome back to our journey through Moses, the servant of God. In today's reading, chapter 14, we explore one of the most beautiful and mysterious miracles in the wilderness, the provision of manna, heaven's bread, given to a hungry and complaining people. This chapter is titled The Gift of Manna, and it's a powerful reminder of how God meets our needs, even when we are at our worst. Let's begin. Exodus chapter 16, verses 14 to 16 says this: When the dew that lay was gone up, behold, upon the face of the wilderness there lay a small round thing, as small as the frost on the ground. And when the children of Israel saw it, they said to one another, It is manna, which means, What is it? For they knew not what it was. And Moses said unto them, It is the bread which the Lord has given you to eat. Let's pause there. What a striking scene. Imagine it. The barren, dusty wilderness, where nothing grows, is suddenly glistening in the morning light, covered with something soft and white. Something completely new. A daily miracle scattered across the desert floor. But before that miracle appeared, the people had to leave Elim. Elim was a place of comfort, 12 springs, 70 palm trees and plenty of shade. It was peaceful. It was refreshing. But they couldn't stay there forever. As the Bible tells us in Exodus chapter 16, verse 1, they took their journey from Elim, and all the congregation of the children of Israel came unto the wilderness of Sin, which is between Elim and Sinai. That one sentence carries a world of meaning. They had to say goodbye to comfort, goodbye to shade, goodbye to sweet water, goodbye to rest. But here is the hope: God didn't stay behind in Elim. He moved with them, and wherever he goes, he takes responsibility for what we lack. Sometimes we only learn the deepest truths about God when we leave the comfort of Elim and walk into the wilderness. It is in the dry and desolate places that we discover what it truly means to depend on God. Just as the Israelites journeyed toward Mount Sinai through harsh terrain, we too walk a path where hardship often precedes revelation. We learn that God's power is greatest when nature fails. We learn his tenderness when we are too tired to be strong. We learn his perfect timing when he feeds us with morning bread, just when we thought we would starve. So yes, it is good to move on from Elim, because ahead lie Sinai, Pisgah, and Canaan. But first we must walk through the wilderness, and that is where the manna comes. Now let's talk about the murmurings. Moses carried a heavy burden. Not only did he lead a wandering nation, but he had to endure their constant complaining, and it wasn't occasional. It came often, like a bitter wind across the desert. Yet, in every complaint, Moses turned to God. He didn't lash out. He didn't give up. He went straight to his friend in heaven, who always listened with kindness. This reveals the greatness of Moses' faith and also the greatness of God's patience. The truth is, the people's murmuring didn't just happen back then. It happens today too. We murmur. We complain about the weather. We complain about the food, about our jobs, about people in our lives. We forget how far God has brought us. It had only been 1 month since Israel left Egypt. Just 1 month. And in Exodus chapter 16, verses 2 and 3, we read this: And the whole congregation of the children of Israel murmured against Moses and Aaron in the wilderness. And the children of Israel said unto them, Would to God we had died in Egypt, when we sat by the meat pots and ate bread to the full. For you have brought us into this wilderness to kill us with hunger. They remembered the food, but forgot the chains. They forgot the whips, the cries, the bitterness of slavery, and they forgot the miracle. Show God had opened the sea for them and drowned their enemies. Murmuring is the sound of a soul that has forgotten. But there is an antidote. Psalm chapter 77, verses 5 and 6 says, I have considered the days of old, the years of ancient times. I call to remembrance my song in the night. I commune with my own heart. And verse 11 continues, I will remember the works of the Lord. Surely I will remember thy wonders of old. When we stop and remember what God has done, our complaints fade, and our faith is renewed. Now here is another truth murmurers lack vision. The people thought they were just complaining to Moses, but Moses corrected them. In Exodus chapter 16, verse 8, he says, The Lord hears your murmurings which you murmur against him. What are we? Your murmurings are not against us, but against the Lord. How sobering. God doesn't just hear the words, we speak them to him. When we grumble about what's missing, we're saying, God, I don't believe you're enough, but Jesus taught us differently. He said that even the hairs of our head are numbered, that not even a sparrow falls to the ground without the Father knowing, that every detail matters. God governs not just galaxies, but grocery lists, not just nations, but your next need. To doubt his hand in our lives is to ignore the very heart of the gospel. Let's go even deeper. Murmuring isn't just about what's happening. It's often about what we're afraid might happen. The Israelites weren't starving yet. They just didn't see how things would work out. Their fear wasn't about the present, it was about the future. How often do we fall into that same trap? We let fear paint the future. We imagine worst-case scenarios, and we forget that God is already there. Romans chapter 8 verse 32 says, "He who did not spare his own son, but delivered him up for us all, how shall he not with him also freely give us all things?" If he gave us Jesus, will he not also give us daily bread? And here is where Jesus becomes our perfect example. He too was led into the wilderness. He too was hungry for 40 days. And yet, not once did he murmur. Not once did he question the Father's love. Instead, he said, "Man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds from the mouth of God." That is the posture of true trust. Now, let us return to the manna. There are two beautiful truths we must remember. First, look up for your supplies. Help doesn't come only from north, south, east, or west. It comes from above. God sent bread from heaven, and he still does. Look up, pray up, hope upward. Second, gather daily and gather early. Exodus chapter 16 verse 21 says, "They gathered it every morning, every man according to his need. And when the sun grew hot, it melted. Each morning, fresh mercy. Each day, new grace." Do not try to live today on yesterday's manna. Come early, come hungry, come before the sun rises too high, and the distractions of the world melt the moment away. The quiet morning hour is where strength is found. And the more we feed on Christ, the true bread of heaven, the more we are satisfied. Jesus said in John chapter 6 verse 32, "Moses gave you not that bread from heaven, but my Father gives you the true bread from heaven." The manna in the wilderness was a shadow. The substance is Christ. And just like Moses, you and I can become conduits of God's provision if we walk by faith. Moses believed. And through that belief, God fed a nation for 40 years. What might God do through your faith? Perhaps he wants to feed someone through you, not just with food, but with kindness, with prayer, with truth, with Christ. All he needs is your yes. Dear friend, if God is calling you into the wilderness, trust him. If he is stripping away comfort, trust him. If he is asking you to believe for provision that you cannot see, trust him. He will meet you with manna. Maybe not all at once. Maybe not in the way you expect, but always, on time. Say yes. Step forward and walk with the God who never fails. Subscribe to our channel. We're walking daily through the spiritual journey of Moses and beyond. We'll see you next time.